From ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. Tonight, the Justice Department informed a federal appeals court that it plans to hand over a number of White House records to the January 6th committee tomorrow. The panel today sent out subpoenas to Rudy Giuliani and former President Trump's post-election legal team.
The subpoena for Giuliani and other Trump lawyers, including Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell, is a sign that this investigation is going far beyond the events of January 6th, that they are focusing on the broader effort to overturn the presidential election, focusing here on those who were most aggressively pushing the lie that the election had been stolen. As for the subpoena of Eric Trump's phone records, this is the first time the committee has gone after the records of a member of the Trump family. All in all, a sign that the committee is moving quickly and aggressively.
ABC's chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl. The Senate is expected to vote tomorrow to change the rules of the chamber to allow voting rights legislation to pass by a simple majority. It's all but certain to fail. The White House will soon send out 400 million non-surgical N95 masks from the Strategic National Stockpile to pharmacies and community health centers to give out free of charge. And speaking of N95s, can you wash them?
N95 masks can be industrially cleaned in the hospital, for example, but I would avoid getting them wet. Many people don't realize that the N95 mask has an electrostatic charge that helps with its filtration, and when you get it wet, that gets rid of that, so it can ruin its effectiveness.
ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is headed back to Europe. He's expected to meet with Ukrainian officials and his Russian counterpart about the Russian troop buildup along the Ukrainian border.
We have information that indicates the Russian government was preparing to evacuate their family members from the Russian embassy in Ukraine in late December and early January.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. You're listening to ABC News.
This is Matt Crowder live at the Shell station on 41st Street, reporting on the free gas app called Get Upside that's letting people all over the country earn cash back on every gallon of gas they buy. Excuse me, miss. Have you heard of the Get Upside gas app?
Of course. People are earning as much as $300 a year with the Get Upside app. It's so easy. Open the app to see nearby gas stations offering money back, pick the one you want, and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas.
Wow. Well, there you have it. Stop paying full price for gas. Download the free Get Upside gas app and earn up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. This is Matt Crowder, Radio News Network.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to earn up to 25 cents a gallon cash back when you buy gas. Use promo code TODAY for a 50 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Get up to 75 cents a gallon cash back on your next fill-up when you download the free Get Upside app and use promo code TODAY. Promo code TODAY.
At least one person is dead after a gas explosion in a 3-story residential building in the Bronx. New York City Mayor Eric Adams says an investigation into what happened will be fast-tracked to get neighbors back into their homes.
It's really the bedrock of this community, and so the goal is to an expeditious but safe investigation so we can get people back into their homes.
2 other people were hospitalized. Given the right circumstances, some sky gazers could see a giant asteroid passing the Earth.
It's big, over half a mile wide. Its official title, 7482, or 1994 PC1. It was discovered in 1994. It's been studied for decades, and this afternoon it will go zooming past us. NASA described 7482 as being bridge-size, so think about the Golden Gate Bridge zooming by. While it's close by NASA standards, it will be 1.2 million miles away, going 47,000 miles an hour. So nothing to worry about. But if you have a backyard telescope, you might be able to see it. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Did you see it? California prosecutors filed 2 counts of vehicular manslaughter against a driver of a Tesla on autopilot who ran a red light, slammed into another car, and killed 2 people in 2019. Netflix leads the NAACP Image Awards with 52 nominations, including a Best Picture nod for The Harder They Fall. The awards will air February 26th. This is ABC News.
Now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Aggie basketball is 1 hour and counting. It's time for KVNU Game Day with more analysis and previews. Sponsored by Alpine Home Medical, Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, Les Olson Company, Jarek's Fine Jewelry, My Mattress, Elements Restaurant, Cache Valley Bank, Castelite, Daryl's Appliance, Advanced Fireplace and Stove, Cache Valley Ear, Nose and Throat, White Pine Funeral Home, S.E. Needham Jewelers, and LSS Insurance. Now with a countdown to tip-off, here's the legendary voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis and Jalen Moore.
Boy, it's late, isn't it? I mean, basketball game starting at 9 o'clock our time. Remember back in the day, though, the old Big West days when we used to play games at home at 10 o'clock for television, and students used to go crazy, and moms used to go nuts because the kids wanted to go, and it was a school night. Well, it's a school night tonight, and it's a school night for me. Yeah, we're here late. Jalen Moore is got some things that are going on that have come up at the last minute. He's not able to join us tonight for our pregame coverage of the Aggies and Fresno State, but we'll get Jalen after the game. John Russell after the game as well will join with us. So let's preview here for the next little bit, because we are in the midst of a really tough, and we knew it was going to be, 8-game stretch to open the conference schedule. Our Aggies are finding themselves in a very unusual spot. For just the second time in the last 6 seasons, and just the third time in 23 years, Utah State has started 1-3 on their league schedule. Both of the previous times at 1-3, at least they turned into 2-3. It's 35 years back to a PCAA conference start in 1987 of 1-4. That's what the Aggies face tonight. The last time they began 1-4, if they don't, again, beat Fresno State. So this is not familiar ground for any of us associated with Utah State basketball to be in. Now, we all realize with a break or two, Aggies could be 4-0 right now. But with the New Mexico overtime victory, we also could see it being the other direction. Could be 0-4. It's a fine line in this really competitive Mountain West games that we have seen so far. And the Aggies are kind of clicking from having not exactly great consistent play all of the time. Coach Ryan Odom?
Can we get a little bit better on defense? Can we rebound a little bit better? Our offensive rebounding numbers have gone up. Can we get to the free throw line and keep others off the free throw line? And, we're right there. We got to stay with it. We can't get discouraged about the results that have happened. We've just got to start trying to turn those in our favor. And I'm confident that we will.
Hopefully, again, those areas will be shored up tonight, because at the Save Mart Center in Fresno, California, they face one of the better players in the league, in Orlando Robinson, and he leads a 12-4 overall Fresno State team that is 2-1 now in Mountain West play. The Bulldogs, again, take on the Aggies, who are now 10-7. That's our team as they go into Fresno tonight. Both teams have 2-game streaks right now. The Bulldogs have a positive 2-game streak, and, of course, ours is negative. And a little bit more on Fresno State from the coach.
I mean, certainly the strength of their team right now is from a defensive perspective. They control the game, much like San Diego State. Obviously, he spent a lot of time there and just kind of moved his own version of that, over to Fresno State and done a great job with that. But they certainly move you side to side offensively. They have guys that can attack the basket, and they have a very defined go-to guy, and that really helps your offense when you have that.
Again, we're talking about Orlando Robinson there. So, again, it is that kind of situation as they go into tonight. It's the 67th meeting of these two teams as Utah State plays Fresno State on the road. And I'm Al Lewis again tonight. And, when you have seen games with Fresno State and Utah State down through the years, you always lined up against a terrific group of athletes over on the Fresno side. And they've normally been a good defensive team, tough to score on. Either they play a little slower maybe than some of the other teams, but this Fresno defense is really, really locked in this year. I was going to talk to Jalen Moore about playing against Fresno State. What's interesting is Jalen twice during his career only played him one time during the season. And guess what? The Aggies are doing that same thing tonight this year. They're only playing him one time. This is the only time they play Fresno, and it's on the road tonight. So Jalen was 2-4 against the Fresno Bulldogs, and they won in the Spectrum as well against the Aggies. So Tarvis Felton, the former Utah State assistant coach who helped coach Jalen back in the days when he played, and he's now an assistant to this Justin Hutson, who Coach just talked about. Again, he was a San Diego State assistant. He's now in his season number 4 at Fresno State. He was an assistant to Steve Fisher down at San Diego State, got this coaching job, and before that was at UNLV. He's got a really good pedigree. Our Aggies go into this game tonight currently in 9th place in the conference standings, if you can believe it. And the series against Fresno, we have a 6-game winning streak going. We have won 9 of the last 10, but it's a 13-16 record for Utah State when they do play in Fresno. So I guess what we have seen already this year in our conference games, we should just count on tonight being a close game. It'll be on CBS Sports Network at 9 o'clock after the Boise State Air Force game, which is at the half right now. Boise State leads 29-26 in that game. And again, it's Boise State at the top of the conference right now. We're going to talk about that in a moment or two. But it's been hard to take these Aggie defeats. I mean, what it just seems like right now is the Aggies don't make a key shot or don't get in runs to eventually get over the top when they get behind. And then the opponents in crunch time don't miss shots. Now, we saw during November, Utah State pulled out close games against Penn and a close one against Oklahoma. And they did it because they got some stops and they made some plays and made some key baskets. St. Mary's, Air Force, Colorado State, and now Wyoming, all are games where the other team got the key play at the end of the game that we didn't get. Now, maybe the refs gave it to them against St. Mary's, but the other games, those teams made shots when they had to make shots at the key time. And the Aggies did make some to get back into the game and get there, but did not make the last one, of course, to win the game. So it's various ways that you have to do that, but you have to get stops against the best players. And it just seems like right now, when the Aggies have lined up against these star players, and they got a real star tonight in Orlando Robinson, it has not been something that has gone well for Utah State. So can the Aggies stop Robinson? This guy is a really versatile inside player that Utah State faces tonight. Once more from the coach.
Yeah, I think it's just his ability to play in his ISO spots, right, where he could play off of 1 or 2 dribbles and get all the way to the basket. He could certainly play in an ISO spot on the block, and get to the middle to his right hook. He also has turnarounds, the other direction. He can make threes. He can face up, a little bit like Roddy, right, where if you don't guard the 3, he'll just shoot it, And so we have to force him to dribble when he catches, out on the perimeter.
Today, I saw there was a national announcement. He was the National Player of the Week, according to one source in college basketball for last week, when he was the Conference Player of the Week as well, when he averaged like 26.5 points, I think, in the 2 wins that they had last week. In the Ken Palm Analytics, he is the number 4 player in all of college basketball when you take into account offensive matrix, defensive analytics, rebounding, all the stats, plus the winning. You put it together on Orlando Robinson's there. Now, I know Justin Bean has been ranked as one of the most efficient players in the country tonight. So you got 2 of really the great individual-type players in America that play in this game on CBS Sports Network tonight. Robinson is taller than Graham Ike, who we saw the other night. He has his power as well, but he also has more game than Ike had. So this is a tough guard tonight for Brandon Horvath or Trevin Dorius or Justin Bean or whoever it happens to be. He's more active, harder to take care of than Ike, and he wants to be a defender this year. That's the big thing he has made as his goal. Remember, Justin Bean decided he was going to be a shooter this year and worked on that, and it's happened. Well, Orlando Robinson, who went into he's been into the NBA draft, I think, the last 2 years and pulled his name out. He wanted to be a better defensive player. In fact, he says, I want to be the conference defensive player of the year. He has improved in those areas and improved in lots of areas. So the Aggies need to, at this point, find their shot. I mean, they are 48% overall as a team shooting right now, but it's only 43.7% in Mountain West play. Then on the other side, the Aggies all season long are still shooting 35% from 3. It was closer to 38 or 9% after the non-conference schedule. Utah State has hit only 19% of their three-point shots. They averaged almost 9 made three-pointers in non-conference games, and now they're under 4 a game in the Mountain West games that they played. Wyoming let the Aggies shoot them, of course, because they were going to see if we were going to make them or not. Now, Fresno's the kind of team that contests all of the shots out there, but again, something's got to happen with these three-point shooting. Justin Bean, what's going on?
We're just in our heads a little too much. I think, obviously the way they were playing it, they kind of a lot of the time dictated that. We had never seen, a defense like that before. But, I think it's just a matter of we're just in our heads a little too much. And we know in practice, we knock them down in practice, and we have all the confidence in the world in all of our guys that are shooting them. And so didn't think they were bad shots. But, again, we just got to keep going with the flow of the offense and just keep the ball hot, and we'll get the right shots that'll end up making them.
A little movement, a little spacing, a little stuff. Again, Fresno's going to make it hard defensively to score and move the ball against them, but at least Rylan Jones did make 4 out of 9 in the last game. We're not going to count that last one when we took it from half court to try to win the game. You need him. You need Stephen Ashworth. You need Brock Miller when he does come back. Horvath, remember, was 22 of 47 before conference play started shooting threes. He's now 1 out of 12 in conference play. Sean Bairstow's 1 for 13. Ashworth is only 4 for 16 in conference game shooting three. Justin Bean, of course, is he's just 3 for 9, but he's still 51% of the season. But again, nobody really shooting it well from 3 into this game. So like we said, scoring's going to be hard against Fresno State tonight, and we'll talk about that when we come back next. Plus, we're going to talk about the Mountain West so far. And my interview later tonight continues another segment with the Coach Odom assistant, Matt Henry, who, again, comes from UMBC with some players, and he'll talk about that.
Yeah, man, the first thing kind of references back to what I said about what Coach told us as a staff about not wanting to mess up this culture. They were guys that were going to fit into this group that Coach was getting to know and had gotten to know in that first week he was here before we as a staff arrived.
And that's the reason why they thought Horvath and R.J. Idle-Rock would fit in, and he'll talk more about that as well. And we'll get more keys to the game as well. It's the Aggie KVNU Game Day. It's brought to you tonight by Castelite. It is really not that hard to install your own tile when you have the experts at Castelite to guide you. So go online to Castelite.com or visit Castelite over here on 2nd West, and they bring you Game Day tonight. It's the Aggies and the Broncos coming up. And also, of course, we're going to talk with Coach Odom here in a moment or two, some thoughts about this Mountain West Conference, where the Aggies right now are down towards the bottom.
We certainly don't feel like we're the bottom team in the league, but we've got to play better, and we've got to make sure that we're making winning plays throughout the games and finding ways to get the key stop, finding ways to get the key basket when we need it.
And Game Day continues on KVNU in just a moment for the game starting at 9 on CBS Sports Network. The Aggies at Fresno State tonight, and Aggie Game Day on KVNU.
It's that first kiss, that moment in time.
It's that look in her eye when you get the first sign.
We make it personal, you know when it's real.
Something for everyone, we know how you feel. Jarrett's fine jewelry, make it special, make it Jarrett's.
Cache Valley Bank's newest branch is now open in Preston. I'm Lance Zollinger, and I'm excited to announce Cache Valley Bank is now open inside Stokes Marketplace. If you're an existing customer, you'll love the convenience. If you're not a customer, we'd love to have you open a new account with us, or even talk with us about a loan for your farm or business. Cache Valley Bank, a community bank where decisions are still made locally, now open in Preston. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
What's more important than sleep? Granted, some things are, but not many. This is Ryan at My Mattress, and here we offer the best solution to better sleep, a better mattress. IntelliBed, the gel mattress, cradles your hips and shoulders while providing the best back support possible. Or come in and choose a Tempur-Pedic that boasts 93% of their owners love their bed. My Mattress, offering the best sleep possible by the South Walmart.
It's the perfect time to get rid of that old wood stove or put an insert in that old fireplace, because the state of Utah's wood stove and fireplace change-out program is back. Advanced Fireplace and Stove says let the government foot the bill up to $3,800 towards your new Heat and Glow gas insert or fireplace or Vermont casting stove. Do you live in Idaho? No worries. Idaho's change-out program is in full swing. They can assist in the Idaho wood change-out too. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, 435-753-3734 or at advancedfireplaceandstove.com.
KVNU Game Day returns with Al Lewis.
Yeah, that was a big play. I think we were down 2. And, the guy kind of left, and I got in there and got the foul call, and I snuck it in. And, big play in like the last minute and a half, 2 minutes, take the lead. The crowd gets into it. And, I just saw the opening and just drove in there and scored.
That was Rylan Jones with that drive with 1:35 to go in the game against Wyoming. The Aggies were down at that time, 65-64, and they had previously forced a missed shot and a turnover from Wyoming, and then Jones drove and made the free throw, and the Aggies, with a minute 35 to go, had another lead in the game, 67-65 by 2. And then EK came right back and got fouled about 20 seconds later, made 2 free throws off of a rebound when he got fouled. They missed a shot. And then they lobbed to Odom for that alley-oop before the Aggies scored again to tie it, with Bean making that elevation in the key, the one-hander, 69-all, 25 seconds to go. And then the clock ran down. Wyoming called the timeout and then ran it down. And with 3 seconds to go, EK banks it in, and the Aggies tried to run the length of the floor, and it was Rylan Jones that took that shot that did not go in. But it is good to see Rylan, again, get 13 of his 19 points in the second half, lift the Aggies to a better basketball game, to, again, have a close enough chance when he made that play at the end to beat Wyoming. Because after injuries against Weber State and New Mexico, he kind of needed to have that kind of game offensively.
Yeah, they were going under on all my ball screens, and, my job was, do what the game tells me to do, and when they go under, I got to step up and make some shots, and I did. I shot when I was open, and I made some shots, and just fed off the crowd and momentum, and getting on our run, and just not enough.
It was just not enough. Again, another 2-point loss for the Aggies. 3 conference losses by 9 total points, and of course the Colorado State game wasn't even as wide a margin as that final score indicates. But doesn't it seem like we have a real common thread going here on our pregame shows that we're talking about the game from before? Rylan Jones needed a game like that. New Mexico, R.J. Idlerock needed a game like that. Trevin Dorius needed a game like he played a while back. Stephen Ashworth. And now lately we're wondering, when Brandon Horvath is going to have another one. Now Rylan gets that game. Consistency is what I'm kind of getting at. In the first month of the year, we seem to have more than enough guys to overcome some of the struggles maybe some of the other guys were having at that time. But now, over about the last month and a half, it has been way, way too much up and down in games. We'll go stretches without points. We'll let the other team have runs on us. We get down by double digits, and we start to try to come back. I mean, it worked in the football season. It hasn't worked as well in the basketball season. Now, Justin Bean is a consistent basketball player. And how does he do it? He's always working hard. He's not worried about the last shot he missed or the last bad play because he wants to make the next play. And I'm thinking with these 3-point shots that the Aggies are missing, they're remembering, hey, I missed my last 3. I got to make this one. And you put that kind of attitude or pressure on you. Even though you shot well in practice, games are different. And when that happens, it happens. If I could have had Jalen Moore on tonight, I was going to have Jalen talk about his career, where when you think back to when Jalen Moore played for the Aggies, he was not an up-and-down basketball player. He's pretty level and pretty key and consistent. And how did he do it? Well, I was going to ask him for his insight, and we'll maybe have to do that another time. But, I mean, even 7 for 18 the other night from Justin Bean is not exactly his kind of game. But 19 points, 13 rebounds. I mean, COVID and injuries have not helped the Aggie situation now with the personnel. Shots will go in and go out all of the time. And the coach feels, though, that his guys still have the right focus. And, again, it proves with the comebacks we've had to get a chance to win the game. But the Aggies haven't won the game against these teams. Now, still to come, San Diego State next week. In the last 3-4 seasons, well, consistently since we've been in the league, San Diego State's always been one of the tough teams to play and beat. Aggies have been able to break through a little against the Aztecs. Now, next week, they'll have a key game here where we'll see what they can do with San Diego State. But you've got Boise State has won 9 in a row, and all of a sudden here's Air Force giving them a hard time. Air Force gave us a hard time. Right now, 36-35 is the score. Boise State has a 1-point lead with about 15 minutes to go. They just scored again. So 38-35 Boise State with 15 minutes to play against Air Force. The Aztecs have now been stopped the last little bit by COVID. Colorado State is 13-1, number 23 in the coaches poll. Fresno's 12-4. Even now, Wyoming. Last night, they go into Reno to validate their win here, and they did. They beat Nevada by 10 points. I mean, they really held Nevada down. They have, a 6-for-30 three-point shooting game. We saw what we did against them three-point shooting-wise. UNLV's a talented team. So 4 games in is not where we wanted to be. And again, the Aggies, again, with Coach Odom telling us yesterday before they left on this trip, again, about the first feelings he has about this league or what he thought.
Certainly, we all expected it to be very good, and the numbers really show that, as you look across the conference and the depth that we have within our conference nationally. It's as good a conference as there is in the country. And so night in and night out, you're going to be in dogfights like we've been in. And, we talked about that before the season ever began. The margins are very small. And, right now we're in one of those moments where it's tipped the other direction on us. And we can't get discouraged by that. We've got to make sure that there's very little difference between a lot of times the top team in the league, and then the bottom team in the league.
And what's interesting right now is you look at the RPI rankings, which the NCAA uses for seeding their tournament and purposes of that. And you've got Wyoming number 27, Colorado State number 29, San Diego State's number 45, Boise State into tonight number 47, Fresno State into tonight number 54, and the Aggies into tonight number 64. You put the top 64, 65, 68 teams now in the tournament. That means 6 teams from our conference would be in. I don't know if we'll get that many, probably not. Aggies are 2-5 against top 100 teams, only 1-5 though against the top 50 teams. Fresno's not quite there, but this would be a good win if the Aggies could get that. And then the players in our league. Justin Bean got all that attention early on ESPN for what he did in the Myrtle Beach tournament, some of those early games. You got Orlando Robinson, National Player of the Week, offensively. Bradley had the big game against Colorado State. Roddy being mentioned, he's on the Wooden Watch list towards the end of the season for the best college basketball player in the country. Our league and our players are good. So you better get there and get leads in games, play with leads, and not expend so much energy to try to come from behind. Fresno State won't be easy tonight. They're the number 3 scoring defense in the nation. They've held 4 teams to 20 points or less in the first half this year. All of their starters are back from last year's 12-12 team, but they already have 12 wins. They matched last year. Justin Hutson, as we mentioned, he's 4th year out of that San Diego State system. He's gone 58-44. He was 23-9 his first season with the Bulldogs, and then went 11-19 before last year. And we mentioned Tarvis Felton is his top assistant. And we all know Tarvis very, very well. Lately, a 6'5 junior, Anthony Holland, has been scoring 18 a game. Again, hopefully the Aggies can control him. 6 others played the other night. They don't play a lot of guys right now. They score about 67 points a game, give up 56.6. And again, they shoot 45, only allow 39.7% up until this game. Now, Deion Stroud can be scary. Leon Mirio is a guy who prepped at Wasatch Academy here in the state of Utah, Brazilian. 7'1" Baxter May at one time was here in the Utah high school ranks at one time in his career. So overall, they've got size, they've got lengths, and we talk about Robinson down in the post. And then, of course, we mentioned the other night, we had EK, and now you get this guy. These post players, Coach, we didn't solve EK the other night. Robinson's even a tougher draw.
We're playing 2 games in a row where we're having to fight, a center they're both different. One was big and burly and was able to kind of impose his will in and around the basket. The other could do both. Like he could beat you with jump shots. He can move you side to side with the ball and get around you. He can certainly score with his back to the basket, in the post as well.
Again, he is an assignment. He can shoot threes. He can go all over the court. And again, defensively, he wants to pick up his game. So I think as I look at keys to the game tonight, Jalen's not here, so I'm going to put the keys out there tonight. As again, Jalen had a little thing come up at the last minute, and he apologized for not being able to join his pregame. He's hoping to get the game watched, and then he'll talk to us on postgame. But Jarek's Fine Jewelry brings the keys to the game tonight. And, of course, all they do is bring you charm bracelets, necklaces, earrings, birthstone jewelry. They do jewelry repair, and, of course, they're always a terrific diamond engagement ring store as well at Jarek's Fine Jewelry. So the keys I've got tonight, Brendan Horvath. We've got to have a defensive and offensive game from him. We've got to have him being able to make some shots, make them have to guard him, and he's going to have to play Robinson some of this game. Trevin Dorius will get the assignment some, but again, Trevin might not be as mobile to be able to follow Robinson with this athletic ability. I think Horvath is a key tonight to have a good game, and I think we have to make at least 8 threes. Fresno's defense not easy to score against. They really pack the paint. They make it hard to get inside. That's where the Aggies have had to make their hay lately because they're shooting so poorly. Somewhere, somebody's got to get some confidence going where we make 8 or 9 threes in this game tonight. And Robinson is a guy, you got to control him. You can't let him have a super 30-point game, a super marvelous game. His surrounding cast, Holland lately has given him some, but they might not have as many other scorers there. Again, keep him under control, and then you have a chance in this game. So those are my keys to the game tonight as the Aggies play Fresno State again. CBS Sports Network after this Air Force Colorado Boise State game, which right now the Broncos lead 44-37, and they got the ball with about 12:57 to go. On CBS Sports Network immediately after that game's done, the Aggies and Fresno State tonight. All right, Matt Henry is an assistant coming in from UMBC with Ryan Odom here. And he has an interesting side story that he'll share with you in our interview coming up.
Georgetown basketball, there's a special relationship between Georgetown and Utah State and Logan because of, I believe it was the 1983 NCAA tournament appearance that was here in Logan. So people always talked about that at Georgetown.
Actually, 1982, I looked it up, and we'll talk about that. And we'll have the Matt Henry interview, that assistant coach, more on his background coming up next. Game Day also sponsored tonight by ChemDry of Northern Utah. They remove allergens out of your carpet with their superior solutions and services to keep your home clean, safe, and healthy. They also can remove 99% of pet odors from carpets as well. They do upholstery cleaning, lots of other cleaning. Again, it is ChemDry of Northern Utah, 752-6100. Game Day continues on KVNU tonight.
Cache Valley is absolutely beautiful. It's always fun to be outdoors. And now is the time to let the Allergy Clinic inside the Cache Valley Hospital help with venom testing for spring and summer. The Allergy Clinic offers testing and treatment to life-threatening stings from honeybees, yellow jackets, white-faced hornets, yellow hornets, and wasps. Independent physicians Benyon, Blotter, and Robinette offer Cache Valley a full-time allergy clinic in 2 locations, Providence and inside the Cache Valley Hospital. The Allergy Clinic accepts most insurances, including SelectMed. Call the Allergy Clinic at 753-7880, 753-7880.
Steven, stop dragging your feet. Don't you give me that look. You've had a bad attitude all day. Now, look, I know you'd rather be with your friends right now, but this has to be done, and either you start cooperating or I'm going to start taking things away from you. And I think you know what that means, don't you, Steven?
Yes, honey, I do.
All right.
Okay.
Watch it.
Bigger isn't always better. At Cast-A-Lite, you'll choose from a huge selection of pavers and receive help from experts. You'll see just how easy it is to do it yourself. For brick, block, rock, paver, and tile, go where the pros go. Online at castalite.com.
S.E. Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. Couples throughout the state buy their rings from S.E. Needham Jewelers because of our low prices, extensive ring selection, and extraordinary benefits and services with financing available. Go to seneedham.com to learn more. We have many unique and beautiful engagement rings starting at $500. You'll find affordable engagement rings with our integrity price guarantee. This is why we are where Utah gets engaged. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
The Riverwoods Conference Center is the center in Cache Valley for business, entertainment, and special events. Whether you're hosting a large or small event, you have the choice of inside with all the new modern interior renovations or outside along the scenic banks of the beautiful Logan River. The Riverwoods is an ideal choice, offering seamless planning, easy catering coordination, and will make your event as professional or as beautiful as desired. To book your next event or for more info, visit theriverwoods.com or call 435-750-5151. We'll see you at the Riverwoods.
More analysis and more previews of today's game. It's KVNU Game Day.
Yeah, I think specifically in the first half, too, there was a lot of fouls. Again, there was just it's really heated at times, really physical game. And so I guess you're going to get a lot of fouls from that naturally. But, I thought, again, at the end of the day, free throw shooting, they go 17 for 21. They're usually not that good of a free throw shooting team, so they knocked them down. And so we just got to keep being physical and try and match that aggression moving forward.
Justin Bean on the erratic officiating the other night. I thought right off the bat the officials were very erratic in how they called the game, some real close, and then all of a sudden other things, and then they started to call this and that. And, of course, we had, 17 fouls on Wyoming, 17 on the Aggies. I mean, that is not an exorbitant number compared to what we have seen all year long, but Again, we also did have, for the first time, a fired-up Ryan Odom at that time in the second half. It was, again, right after Utah State's Max Shulga had scored on a bank shot, and he thought he got fouled on that play. And he was upset because of a lack of an offensive foul that wasn't called the last time down the floor against Wyoming. And Coach Odom became a little unglued. And again, it went from a 50-48 game with them shooting 2 technical free throws. They made those. They got 1 of 2 on the foul that was called at the other end at the time when all of this broke through. And then on the missed free throw, they got the rebound, and they turned around and made the jumper again. So really, kind of they ended up out of the whole deal about a 5-point play. And the coach after the game, getting fired up with Winston Stith, the official, again said to the team he was sorry.
I do occasionally. I mean, you saw it. Yeah, occasionally I will, but, probably not that's what I said to the team. I'm sorry. We ended up losing the game there by 2 at the end, and I gave them a couple of buckets there. And that's not what a coach is supposed to do. And so I apologize to them after the game. And because it's the game is a collection of plays, right? And you can't pick one and say you lost because of that. But when I do what I did, that's a cardinal sin there. I shouldn't have done that.
You can tell as he was talking the other night, he's pounding the table almost at himself in disgust for what happened there, because he's normally mild-mannered, and he was upset. And again, I think a lot of the Aggie fans were upset as well about how, again, it just seemed like they'd let EK back in, barrel in, move around. Doria's straight up on him a couple of times on the replays. A couple of times those other replays of offensive fouls called showed that there was no contact made. A lot of that stuff erratic going on. But again, that's the game of basketball. A guy who has been with Coach Odom is our interview guest tonight, and we've let you find out about again Coach Dixon, Coach Crawford, and now Matt Henry is the other guy on the staff. And this interview with the Aggie assistant coach tonight, part 1 of 2 telling about his life, is brought to you by, if headaches and migraines are a problem to you, Cache Valley ENT can help alleviate your pain. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat would like to talk to you about your problems with, again, headaches. And here is Matt Henry, who is nothing but a nice guy, not a headache for Utah State. The coaches love him, the players love him, and here he is. Coach Henry, you are the guy who has not been with Coach Odom as long as the other guys. Give us how long you've been with these guys. Yeah,
I arrived with Coach. I did 3 seasons at UMBC, so I'm riding the wave of the win versus Virginia in the NCAA tournament. So I came in the August after that March. And I'd known Ryan for a while. We got to know each other when I was working at Georgetown and he was at Virginia Tech. We'd scrimmage every year. And kind of just stayed in touch. And then he called me that summer about coming down and joining him when he had a staffer move. And for a variety of reasons, closer to home and closer to some family, it made sense. And then from a basketball perspective, it was good. And then just working and being around Ryan, it's been awesome.
Give me a quick timeline then of your coaching career, where you've been before UMBC and here in Logan.
Sure. So working backwards, I was with Ryan for 3 years at UMBC. Prior to that, I was at St. Peter's University in Jersey City, New Jersey for 5 years, which was really, really good experience working for a guy named John Dunn, who was a great coach, and we had some pretty good teams there. Prior to that, I was at I was at Mount St. Mary's for a couple years in Emmitsburg, Maryland. I was there for 2 years, and actually my second year there, I had to finish the year as the acting head coach. My boss stepped aside with 4 games left, so I finished that out. And then prior to that, I was at Georgetown for 6. I was a young coach. I started at Georgetown when I was 25, and I was a director of basketball operations, so kind of learning my way in the business, and part of some great teams. Went to the Final Four in 2007, went to a Sweet 16 in 2006, coached a bunch of NBA players, so that was a great experience. And as we were discussing earlier, Georgetown basketball, there's a special relationship between Georgetown and Utah State and Logan because I believe it was the 1983 NCAA tournament appearance that was here in Logan. So people always talked about that at Georgetown.
Yep. Georgetown played in the Spectrum. That's right. So they, even though they won't come play the Aggies now, probably it was nice that they got the Spectrum before. You mentioned you were born in Maine, but you lived a lot of your life in Virginia, and then you end up going to school in Texas. But you told me you wanted to be a basketball coach for a long, long time. Why? Where did that come?
Where did that insanity come from, right? No, I loved basketball and played it growing up. And my father and my uncle were always into basketball and talking about coaches, and I'm sure that had a part of it. And And then I was a good high school player, not great, and I went to college and wasn't involved my first year. And then my sophomore year, knowing I wanted to get involved in coaching, I went to the coach there at my alma mater, Trinity University, a Division III school in San Antonio, Texas. And I said, I just want to be around. I want to help. I want to learn. And that allowed me to kind of get into coaching a little bit and do some coaching as an undergrad, and then work there for 3 years before Georgetown. So that was my start into this crazy business, and it's been a fun ride since.
As you moved here and brought Brandon and RJ with you, what was it about those guys that you really wanted to, if they wanted to continue or would move, come to Utah State with you?
Yeah, man, the first thing kind of references back to what I said about what Coach told us as a staff about not wanting to mess up this culture, is that they were guys that were going to fit into this group that Coach was getting to know and had gotten to know in that first week he was here before we as a staff arrived. They are high character kids. They on and off the court. They were going to fit in the locker room. Obviously, we're not going to take them because just that. They have to be very good players. And we thought they both brought some things that would enhance on the basketball court as well. But we would not have brought them if they weren't going to. We didn't feel like they were going to fit in. And one of the neat things about bringing them is that you're seeing them start to develop these relationships with the players that were returning, right? And some of the seniors, like the leaders, the Brock Miller and Justin Bean. I think it was Brandon and Justin posted a picture on social media after the New Mexico game, and it was Brandon's arm around Justin's back or shoulders. And just they both posted it with affection towards the other, and seeing that relationship growing since June 1 to now is really cool.
It really is neat. And again, like I said, I think Horvat's a big one. It looked like R.J. Idlerock is still out tonight because of COVID protocol. That's what the coach said yesterday. He indicated that, and we'll get into the FC Needham Jewelers starting lineup here as we continue in our next segment with the coach coming up. But here's a little Aggie story for all you Aggie fans that were here in the Valley. The Spectrum in 1982 did have the Georgetown Hoyas here, who were the number one team in the country. They eventually lost to North Carolina in the championship game that year. But they, again, played here. Wyoming beat Southern Cal, and West Virginia beat North Carolina A&T in the first two games of that regional that was held here, that first round series in the Spectrum in 1982. And then Fresno beat West Virginia, and Georgetown defeated Wyoming. So Fresno State, who we play tonight, was a part of that group here in Logan at that time, again. And then also Georgetown, as the coach said, that they remember coming to Logan in 1982. He said 83, but it's actually 82. So there's a little memory for Aggie fans. All right, next segment is with the coach and a few other things for Rylan Jones coming up.
We have enough in the locker room to win every game that we play that's on our schedule, and we have the character to do that, and we've got to make sure that we're working to get a little bit better every single day. That's the key.
No excuses because of COVID or injuries or whatever. Hey, if you're feeling overwhelmed with Medicare rules and regulations, LSS Insurance walks you through all of the options at zero cost to you. One-on-one help. They do have monthly classes too, but they will help you get the right Medicare plan. So about 3 months out when you're going to turn 65, get with them and get the right Medicare plan. All of your insurance needs, LSS Insurance, 752-9493. Bring you game day on KVNU. Aggies in Fresno State tonight starting at 9 on CBS Sports Network right after this Boise State game and Air Force is done.
Don't know about you, but I adore my dog Winston. However, I don't adore the occasional accident. This is Dal with ChemDry of Northern Utah. With ChemDry's specially formulated pet urine removal treatment, will help take care of those unsightly pet stains and odors. Even severely damaged carpets can be saved with ChemDry's revolutionary methods. Pets are part of the family too, so until we can learn to potty train them, calling us is the next best option. ChemDry of Northern Utah's pet urine removal treatment.
ChemDry of Northern Utah. ChemDry of Northern Utah. 435-752-6100.
West Point Dairy Products at Hiram is hiring. West Point Dairy Products has been manufacturing high-quality butter for over 25 years in Cache Valley. They're currently expanding and want you on their growing team. West Point Dairy Products offers competitive wages for entry-level positions starting at $18 per hour, full benefit packages, double time on Sundays, a $2,000 sign-on bonus, and tremendous opportunities for growth. For immediate consideration, call Express Employment Professionals at 435-213-9595.
Advanced Heating and AC, the gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah, is teaming up with Carrier Heating and Cooling. Carrier provides you with the best furnace units available. And now is the best time to buy a new unit before the weather turns Cache Valley cold. Financing options are available. Turn to the experts at Advanced Heating and AC and Carrier. Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning at 752-7272. Stop by at their showroom west of DI. Online, advancedheating-ac.com.
Hi, this is Bob Larson with LSS Insurance. Are you confused by TV commercials telling you all that you're missing from your Medicare coverage? These national ads are offered by people you will never hear from again and are only interested in selling you something. Let us answer your questions and show you in detail your Medicare options. We're your local agent, here to help throughout the year. Please call 752-9493. Why not take advantage of every benefit available? Come see us or call 752-9493.
Yeah, we're not shooting it great right now. There were some open shots out there that certainly could change the game. That didn't go down for us, but we can't let that deter us. When they're there, we've got to take them.
Again, that's the coach the other night after the Wyoming game when Utah State had another one of those poor three-point shooting games, 19% in conference play up until now. And then when I had a chance to talk to him before they left to go to Fresno yesterday, I said to the coach, but you're not giving up on guys as far as shooting goes. They have green lights because you know what guys can do from beyond the arc. Is that right, Coach?
Yeah, no question. I mean, we've gotten off to a slow start in the conference, from a shooting perspective, and I think we've got good shooters taking, the right shots. I don't think we're taking bad shots. Early in the game the other day, we were a little bit too quick with the three, and we talked to our guys during timeouts about it. Hey, we can't, take the bait just because they're giving us some of these early in the clock. We've got to make sure that we test them a little bit, make them guard a little bit longer, because they're putting pressure on us on defense, just very simple, in simplistic way that they were playing. And so we wanted to make sure that, we did focus on trying to get some twos, and we ended up doing that, over the course of the game. That's one of the bright spots of this team. We do shoot threes. 41% of our shot attempts usually come from three. During conference play, that number's gone down. But we've still found ways to be in games and have a chance to win each one of them while not shooting it well.
So again, not shooting it well, still in chances to win games, and that's the reason why, as we get into our coaches segment here with Ryan Odom on our pregame before Utah State at Fresno State tonight, the only time the Aggies are playing the Bulldogs this year, Alpine Home Medical in Logan. What sets them apart is their superior level of quality service they provide their customers for your one-stop shop for home medical equipment, 774-4500. So Coach does still believe in a basketball team, and I looked it up, 10-7. In 2018, 4 years ago, the Aggies were 10-7. They lost 4 in a row at that time, but then eventually got it back to 14-16 at one time. We have not had a 10-7 record the last 3 years under Craig Smith. So this is, again, like new territory like we're talking about before. But the coach believes in these guys to get things done in a tough stretch.
Tough ending for our guys. The key for us, is our response from here. One of the cool things for me and our staff is that literally every day that we walk into our locker room or we walk in for practice or any type of meeting that we have where we're together, it's the same team every day. Whether we won by 15, or we lose a heartbreaker like this one or Colorado State, I get the same team every single day.
So after the opener against Air Force, and then we're supposed to have San Jose in there. Look at the run. Boise State, New Mexico, Colorado State, Wyoming, Fresno State, Boise State, San Diego State, Nevada. That's the run that this team is on. It is going to be, no matter what, this is, the gauntlet of the season.
And we understand. We've got a very, very tough stretch here. Our league is excellent this year. And we've had 3 straight games, 4 now, that have been right down to the wire in each one of them. And so our guys have got to, we have to, as a team, figure out how to get over the top, and turn these kind of defeats into wins. And we've got the character and the leadership in order to do that. But it's going to be like this all year. it's just a really, really good league.
SC Needham Jewelers always brings you our starting lineup before every game. Again, SC Needham Jewelers, where Utah gets engaged. And it would figure, again, that it will be Sean Bairstow, Stephen Ashworth, Brandon Horvath, Rylan Jones, and Justin Bean. The three have been there most of the year, but now we have Brock Miller with that bad back, and now the COVID situation for R.J. Idle-Rock. So even if he was clear, well, they left yesterday, and he hadn't been cleared yesterday. I don't know if he gets cleared today. Maybe they could fly him out to join with the team and be a part of it. But the coach said even if he did arrive, he would come off the bench in this game no matter what. But it just seems like no matter what this year, something's happening for the Aggies not to get breaks with the personnel out on the court. And Rylan Jones talked about that.
Yeah, missing 2 key players. I hope they get better, obviously, and I hope they get back on the court. But, yeah, whenever you missing 2 starters, there's, Brock's shooting ability and RJ's playmaking and scoring. There's the points to be made and plays to be made that we have to make. And, yeah, I had I got some open shots and, it just came in the flow of the game. I wasn't trying to force anything or be aggressive. I was just doing, what the defense told me to do, and I got some open looks, yeah.
And Rylan Jones, of course, did get the one last look. If you were not with us after the game the other night, he talked about the last play of the game, 3.3 seconds to go. There were options for the Aggies involved there before he took the shot.
Yeah, so, 3 seconds, not a lot of time, and coach drew up the play, and it was kind of my read, and, there's going to be a screen for Steven on the baseline, and my look was to see if he was open to get a 3 up, and they covered him, and then I kind of had nobody in front of me. I shot it, and I knew it was probably going to be long, just running full speed and not really being able to get my feet all the way under me. But when I shot it, it was right on target, and I'm like, it's got a chance, and just obviously off the backboard. So, but yeah, no, with 3 seconds, it's hard to get a really good look, and I think I was pretty wide open. Obviously tough shot, but
Wyoming scouted Stephen Ashworth pretty well from the shot he made. Again, remember in the New Mexico game where we didn't get it to count, had to win in overtime and eventually did, but they scouted him very, very well for the Aggies, maybe looking for a shot from him near half court or whatever, and Rylan had to take that. So, again, this Aggie team goes into Fresno State, again, on a 2-game losing streak, at a 1-3 conference start. And again, these tough games, do they mount up? Do they bother basketball players?
Possession games, we just got to be the team that finishes more possessions. And I think, that's going to be our goal for the next couple of games, is just be more consistent.
And so the Aggies tonight try to be more consistent, like we talked about before. That consistency is a thing that has been lacking. We were able to overcome it with really good play by a lot of people, and now it happens more and more for more players on the floor. And we just can't. We're just getting Justin Bean, and we're not getting somebody always consistent with him all the time. Okay, a few other comments to come as we continue. Let's see, they got 4:38 left to play. Boise's now got an 11-point lead on Air Force. And again, Boise will be here Thursday night for the game in the Spectrum, 7 o'clock. I believe there's still tickets remaining for that game, 7 o'clock on Thursday night. So Aggies and Boise Thursday, but it's the Aggies at Fresno tonight, and they're playing each other, playing back-to-back on TV. So you get a good chance to see Boise right now. If you turn on CBS Sports Network, that's where the Aggies and Fresno will be after the top of the hour. Game day continues on KVNU.
We're talking with Jeff at Daryl's Appliance. Why does Northern Utah choose Daryl's when they need to repair their appliances?
Our customers trust us to get the job done right. We have been repairing appliances for over 52 years. We also have our Under One Roof loyalty program where we discount the trip charge when you decide to buy new instead of the repair. Plus, our service calls and parts are guaranteed. Daryl's West on Airport Road, open till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 5 on Saturdays.
The new year isn't the only thing we're celebrating here at Alpine Home Medical. This year marks our 25th anniversary, and we couldn't be happier to serve you. Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent. If you haven't shopped with us, we'd love for you to make us your one-stop shop for any of your home medical needs. They're always changing, so please don't hesitate to stop by any of our 10 locations throughout Utah and southern Idaho.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Or online at alpinehomemedical.com.
This is Dave Simmons for Les Olson Company. Every great team knows that you have to train to stay on top of your game. Even top players continue to practice the fundamentals. That's why Les Olson Company offers free IT security awareness training so your business can stop threats before they become a problem. Learn what to do in case of a suspected phishing attack. Don't take risks. Take action with the Les Olson Security Suite. Get your free network assessment at lesolson.com.
This is James Stevens with White Pine Funeral Services. We often hear people say, I wish I could use White Pine, but I've already paid for arrangements elsewhere. Know that if you've already pre-planned with a different funeral home, you can still call White Pine. If you are being told you'll lose up to 25% of your money, White Pine will provide a discount equal to any fee for switching. If you have any questions, please stop by for a visit or give us a call. We would love to meet you and explain in more detail.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
KVNU Game Day is back with Al Lewis.
Just looking forward to the next one. We got to bounce back from this one and make the right adjustments, and look forward to another game at Fresno.
At Fresno, where the Aggies, again, have beaten the Bulldogs 6 consecutive times in the series, 9 of the last 10. They do have a 13-16 all-time record, as we said. Fresno, before the Aggies won 9 of the last 10, Fresno had 5 out of 6. I think that was during the Jalen Moore years that were here. This is the 4th road game in the last 5 for the Aggies, and then they'll get the next 2 at home and 4 of the next 5. Aggies actually have 6 victories away from Logan, where they only, again, have just the 4, I think it is, at home inside the Spectrum this season. Interesting stuff there. And again, this Fresno State team is a real challenge for the Aggies on their floor, where they have not lost this year. I think they're 8-0 at home this season.
A really good defensive team, one of the best defensive teams in the country. They're really tough to score on. They do a really good job of protecting the paint. They get out the shooters. They steal the ball in gaps. Offensively, obviously, they have a go-to player in Robinson. He's really developed over time and has continued to improve. He's added to his game. All of his numbers, are pretty much up from a season ago. And even though it's a little, they're not like drastic changes, but when you're as good as he is, and you can move him at all, it's a positive thing. And
he's getting close to a 20-point average on the year now. He had just had 26.5 in the Conference Player of the Week, National Player of the Week in one poll this past week. He wants to be, as we said, the Defensive Player of the Year in this conference. And he's 1 point away from top 30 all-time in Fresno State scoring. And when you're top 30 in Fresno State scoring, it's kind of like the Aggies. You've got a who's who of great basketball players. They've had 3 NBA lottery picks in the last 22 years. Paul George, of course, was a number 10 pick in 2010. San Diego State's only had 1. That's Kawhi Leonard. And UNLV's had a couple. So that's it for this conference as far as lottery guys in this, this team. They've played 6 NCAAs, but they were last in the NCAA in 2016. They have been in 10 NITs. They won it in 1983 with Boyd Grant. And that year before, in 82, they played the NCAA as the 4th-seeded team in the West. And they played here and then lost to Georgetown in the next round of the tournament after they won their game in Logan here against Wyoming. This is a team, again, that has this Orlando Robinson, but it's not all quite him, right, Coach?
They've got some good shooters around him and guys that we're going to have to get to, and athletic, defenders, that get out in transition and make plays. And so it'll be a good opportunity for us to, try to get a win on the road.
Anthony Hollins averaged 18 over the last couple of games. Isaiah Hill played last year. Jordan Campbell played last year. Deion Stroud, he averaged 12 last year. He's averaging 6 this year. He's capable stuff. So how are they going to handle the Aggies defensively in this game? They've always been kind of a team that likes to really be right into you with pressure. Is that the way they're playing now, Coach?
Half court, yeah, they do have a 2-2-1, up the court that they will trap some with and put some pressure on you. But, they get a lot of their steals and just really good defensive stops in the half court because they ice ball screens. They try to keep you on the side of the court. They funnel you into traffic, and they're very good at raking at your ball, when you drive in there. So they're tough to score on. They're always there on the catch. They sell out, to get back to you, to then, again, force you back into traffic. So we're going to have to be really good with our spacing and not be on top of one another. And move the ball, efficiently, from side to side.
Aggies, again, if they score 80, win the game, but only one team's been over 70 against Fresno. As we said, they're number 3 in the nation with this defense right now. Aggies lead the conference in even the turnover margin, and that's another thing. They steal the ball a lot, so we got to watch that tonight in this game. Dorius last year, remember how well he played in that game at Fresno? 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 blocks, a steal, had a really big game. Then we couldn't play the other game because there was some COVID things in the Aggie program. Ashworth had 10 points and he's had 10-6 with 7 assists against them. And Justin Bean, 13-12 the last time he played him. He had another game of 15-11, but he's had a few games where he hasn't had quite as many numbers against them. The Bean watch for tonight, he is 9 rebounds away from passing Ty Wesley for number 6 in the all-time rebounding charts. He's number 7 right now. And he needs now 30 more points to pass Jay Goodman to be the number 26 all-time scorer at Utah State. He's number 27 on the list right now. He is tied with he needs one more to tie Greg Grant, number 2 on the all-time double-double list. That's all the stat looks and everything towards this game. Again, it'll be on CBS Sports Network when this game's done. About 3 minutes to go. Boise State leading by 9 in their game against Air Force.
KVNU, Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM with the best talk and information.